We want to get to the next mile. We want to get to the extra level. But you cannot just go to that extra level if you're not curious, if you don't have the intrigue, and if you don't want to explore and discover what other new approaches are inside your own education field.
Hi, I'm Terrence O'Hanlon, Executive Director of the Association of Asset Management Professionals. I'm here to talk about Asset Management Visionaries, a podcast that creates space for very crucial conversations that are not taking place anywhere else in the world that can advance maintenance, reliability, and asset management. Now we have a great chance today to speak with a person who really thinks out of the box about how to advance maintenance, reliability, and asset management. I'd like to introduce you to Maura Abad.
Hello world, Maura Abad, Asset Management Visionaries Shaping Tomorrow under the umbrella of the Association of Asset Management Professionals. Today we want to have an interesting interview because, as you know, Maura is your host in Asset Management Visionaries, and we thought that it would be important that you get to know her a little bit more. Tell us a little bit, you are always so passionate about asset management. Give us a little bit of an overview, why you're feeling so passionate and why you continue doing this effort and education and awareness about asset management. Thank you, first of all, for the invitation at the Association of Asset Management Professionals. Regarding the question, I go back for a moment to the 17 United Sustainable Nation Goals that we have. That 17 United Nation Goals represent important part for the world and the community, and we as humans. One of them is health, and another one is education. And to me personally, health and education are really the foundation. Education is power, education is knowledge, and the awareness. Once you know something, you cannot just not unlearn it. In the field of reliability, and when we're talking about safe practices and sustainable practices, that is where awareness and education come in place. Asset management plays a key role in what we do as the Association of Asset Management Professionals is that the expansion of awareness, the expansion of education. So once you know the reason, what is it and why we are doing it, it takes the subject, takes the individual to another level. That's why personally, I am passionate about education. I am passionate about people understanding the what and also the why, because when you're working with people and we're all individuals, we want to get to the next mile. We want to get to the extra level. But you cannot just go to that extra level if you're not curious, if you don't have the intrigue, and if you don't want to explore and discover what other new approaches are inside your own education field. So it is an invitation for all of us to understand, first of all, what are we passionate about? And do more of that and amplify that. And what are we still lacking to know and expand on that? In my opinion, asset management is both. Because you can be super knowledgeable about asset management, but there is so much more to learn all the time. Or you might be confused between managing assets or asset management. Again, that's another opportunity to refresh concepts, to share concepts, and to empower others to learn. And you being that example about what is your transition in the asset management journey. It's very interesting, Maura, because you came from background of hospitality. That's what you study at the university. Can you tell the audience a little bit, how did you end up in this industrial field of reliability and asset management? That's a great question, because when you started your career, right, at the beginning, I want to be a journalist, let me tell you. But then it changed, and I saw hospitality industry, travel, languages, people, customer service. I said, which I did my studies in tourism, in hospitality, from picking up passengers at the airport, taking them to the hotels, and showing them the city, and now later on to a bigger position, being the operations manager of a whole city, receiving cruises and coordinating logistics with tour guides and buses. that is asset management. I was basically doing asset management. And that's the beauty, that when I was presented and I came into this industry, the first thing is indeed just to compare. But wait a moment, I said to myself, I'm coming from another industry. What relationship, what similarities will this industry have with asset management? But then little by little, when you start understanding what I just mentioned, coordinated set of activities, that is asset management. So I literally was doing asset management in the hospitality field. And then when you start getting into that commonality, makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense because at the end of it all, the languages that I was doing, now I'm speaking different languages with our colleagues from different parts of the world and in the community, the interactions, the relationships, that is not only in tourism, but in life. And the coordination, one more time, comes back to asset management in a higher level of strategy, that is asset management. And in everything that we do in life, we do need to have that strategic planning, the strategic vision. And at the end of it all, we compile, and here we are. It is interesting that from one end, you end in another, but it's not even the end. It's just, I will say, a continuation. And any other thing that I enjoy a lot of detective work. And with detective work, again, just by putting the pieces together, the stakeholders, understanding what the case is about, that again is asset management. So in our daily activities, we are dealing with asset management. For you, what does it mean, when we talk about a future that was not supposed to happen anyway, but towards asset management, what is the difference between using asset management and an organization that perhaps is not using asset management? Well, first of all, the future is now. And I always say the future and present, they're on the same timeline. And why? Because whatever activity you're doing in the now is gonna define the later. So again, starting with the future is now. With that awareness, you can activate. That means that there is a default future might be coming ahead if you don't do anything. But that might not be the way. Once you have the awareness, you can do something. That's why it's so important to have a visual board, your key performance indicators, understanding what is the lagging place that you want to land, and what are the daily activities and daily steps not to unfocusing you from your aim, from your north. I will also suggest to write your personal objectives that are mapped to that bigger aim that you want to achieve. And might not be one, might be multiple ones, but allowing yourself to understand what is that end goal, it will take you there. So coming back to the timeline, you do have a lot to do in the now, and things that you might not want to achieve, then don't go to that pathway. You can choose. I always said you can be the passenger or you can be the driver. I encourage us all to review our goals and to double check in what seat of the car are you. Are you just driving? Are you in the passenger? Or are you in the other seat in the back or in the trunk? We don't want to get you there. You have to be happy with whatever pathway you choose. And again, whatever pathway on asset management that you might be seeking or might not be seeking, you have to take that as responsibility. Okay, I'm gonna decide to embark in this journey of asset management. You put a flag on the ground and your team are gonna take you to the next step. But if you choose not to go into asset management, I will tell you, especially with the technology and the fast pace, you must be into asset management. You need to know your strategy. You need to know your stakeholders. You do need to have that north. Otherwise, any road can take you there. And the roads can get confusing, especially with everything that we're talking now with digitalization, artificial intelligence. You must have your data all in the right location. You need to have that right information, not just to collect data, but to have the right data to make the right decisions. Now let's talk about Women in Reliability and Asset Management, WIRAM. That is a community that has grown. Can you tell the world a little bit what inspired you to create Women in Reliability and Asset Management, and what is this group about? Thank you for that question, diversity. And what we said about Women in Reliability is a movement. It's not about a person, it's about the movement, about what we're doing as society and amplifying women's voice. Everything started 7-8 years ago. When I came into the field and the community of reliability, there was a lot of questions. Why we don't have enough women in the industry? And I strongly believe that we can be or part of the problem or part of the solution. And when you are part of seeking that solution, I basically put together the aim, the mission, the vision on an airplane ride. When we landed, I presented in a PowerPoint at an airport to our executive director, Terrence O'Hanlon, and he was really, really into it. He said, of course, like the typical executive sponsorship, and give you the okay and the green light. And that really allowed us to start from zero and get that momentum going from 5 women to 20 to 40 to now over 1,500 women worldwide, not only in the United States, but you very well know, and for you listening in different territories worldwide, that we are so proud about the women in the industry. The group basically is about, again, awareness and education, not only on diversity, but how diversity impacts areas such as digitalization, sustainability, reliability, among other topics that you might be passionate with, execution management, reliability engineering. And we have done exercises where diverse groups, not only in genre, but also roles and backgrounds, has a more diverse response to different scenarios, such as decision-making or key performance indicators. Decisions are gonna be different because you're coming from a different pool of choices, of experiences, and that really nurtures the community. So again, the reason why to create the group is in a passionate way to tell the world where we are women in the field, that we have so much to share. And I am sure that if you're listening and you have a story to share on the personal side or professional side, we wanna hear from that. Never think that you don't have something to share, because someone might be in need of listening to your story. Now, you were born in Cuba. We understand that you also grew up in Ecuador, South America, and now you're living in the United States of America. Can you tell us a little bit about your background and, in your opinion, how that multicultural and diversity is an impactful point in your life? Thank you for that one. When people ask me where I'm from, I do tell them where I'm from, but I have one line, which is I'm a citizen of the world. Because being a citizen of the world allows you to have different perspectives on the diversity side. To me, being born in Cuba, in nowadays and every day since I left Cuba, I am very grateful about what I have in my life every single day. Being in Ecuador, beautiful place. I miss my families, my friends, they're still there. But it's so good to have this diversity of the background of nationalities, culture. It gives you a broad perspective of where you want to head to. And I always said, I hope in my lifetime I can head to the moon and Mars, because the sky is not the limit. We are our own limit. Again, when you are born in certain places and you want to get to explore. I remember myself being in bed, reading so many books about museums, and then have the opportunity of being in front of these masterpieces. I've cried so many times because I knew at some point I will see them. I never said myself, no, I am in this place right now and I won't be able to go to X place. I've never seen life that way. I have allowed myself to be curious, to discover, to explore, and really not to have limits. And when people ask me, why do you want to go to the moon? Why do you want to go to Mars? My answer is, why not? Can you share with the audience a little bit about the different events that you have attended, the networking opportunities? What have inspired you the most about this gathering with the women in the industry? Thank you for that question. Basically, with the different events, experiences, number one is making sure people know the group exists, that they understand they have a space, a community. Throughout the year with webinars. My favorite moment is when women have attended 1, 2, 3, 4 webinars, and then they come back and say, you know what, I now want to speak because I know I want to share a story. Of course you can share stories because you have a lot to say, your personal, professional life. The only also another part that we want to highlight is that these webinars, yes, they happen online, but at the conferences, you listening might want to be interested in being a panelist or a keynote speaker in our upcoming events. That is super important to us. Also, articles throughout the year. If you feel passionate about a topic, you can write articles on the Association of Asset Management Professionals. The certifications will help you and support your journey moving forward. Such an important thing when you get to, I will say, entertain your own future by seeing your resume and see what else you can enhance. Certifications as certified reliability leader, certified maintenance manager, digitalization, lubrication, the bells is a continuation. It's a never-ending journey. Again, invest in your education. You will never regret it because today you're here, but tomorrow you don't know where you can be. And coming back to the timeline, whatever actions you take today, they're going to support your upcoming future. Now, we know that you have won the Toastmaster competition and you are part of Toastmaster. English is not your first language. Can you tell a little bit about what was that experience about and what was it for you when you won this prestigious award? Thank you for asking. I have to say, I used to be a person that didn't really celebrate my own successes. Actually, I was let's go to the next one. I didn't even take 10 minutes. And what I have been learning lately about life, first of all, is if you don't celebrate yourself, might be people around you which will do, but in reality, you need to take your moment. You need to take your time. You need to embrace your successes. Toastmaster, for me, has been a great opportunity to continuously learning about public speaking. I am, in diapers. That's the way I say it. Because the more you learn, the more you realize how much more you still need to learn. And the way that I enter into Toastmaster is because I saw Warren Buffett in an interview and he said that he just spoke this way because he took Toastmaster. I'm into business, so immediately I said, I want to take that class because there is so much more that we can improve. It has allowed me to be more secure. It has allowed me to slow down, even though I still have to slow down a little bit more, but it really gives you that, again, awareness. And when you're aware, everything changes because I now know when to slow down. I now know what I'm doing wrong, and that is beautiful. So I will definitely suggest, if you're listening to this interview and you are great at public speaking, or perhaps you have glossophobia, which is fear of public speaking, that you take a chance, no matter in what end you are, or maybe intermediate, and join this club because it gives you so much. And again, honor. I want to say in one word, I felt honored because I was competing with native speaking English speakers, of English language. But for me, again, is a moment of empowerment personally and say, okay, you have been studying this language and you continue learning every day new words. Living in the United States, I have the blessing of getting to know new words, the pronunciation, and with that, you can keep going to the next level. But thank you for asking that question. It's important to me. Can you also let us know the Association of Asset Management Professionals provides a lot of education and awareness on asset management. Tell us a little bit about the certification, specifically CRL stands for Certified Reliability Leader, and also CMM, Certified Maintenance Manager. What do you think the differences are, and what would you tell the audience about them? Thank you for the question. Certified Reliability Leader, it is not only a certification. I will say it's a way of business. And by that I mean that when people get the Certified Reliability Leader, now they're talking about business outcomes. That is in a different position. You're gonna be more able to ask better questions. As we know with technology, ChatGPT, Generative Pre-trained Transformer, the people that have the power to get the best answers are the people that are asking the best questions. Certified Reliability Leader, what it's gonna do is, from a business point of view, making you ask the right questions to your team and get the different stakeholders interested. Once you ask that question, it's gonna inspire curiosity in others, and they're gonna start asking more and more. And when you ask one question, it's gonna be unlocking more for your business inside. Regarding certified maintenance manager, there are 18 models. There is nothing like this in the marketplace, not only from a perspective of failure modes, failure codes, but asset management and in depth on the certified maintenance manager on the revenue side, profitability side, people side, is all together. Certified maintenance manager will allow your personnel to see maintenance as a business from a different perspective. Any call to action for the audience that is listening to you? But call to action, it is understand what is your personal goal and align it to your professional goal. Every morning when you wake up and you go to your job, not only that you're going to your job, but you're going to be doing something to activate your professional and your personal goal. They need to be aligned. That's my biggest call to action for you today. Just align your goals, keep pushing forward, inspire yourself, then you will inspire others. Well, thank you very much for your insights. I hope with this, the audience has a little bit of more perspective of who is Maura Abad, your host at the Association of Asset Management Professionals, Asset Management Visionaries. We will be interviewing you again, of course, if requests on the audience, perhaps with more questions that they might want to know about you. On behalf of the Association of Asset Management Professionals, we appreciate you listening and continue following us in the different networks. We're really looking forward to bring you more episodes in Asset Management Visionaries Season 2. Stay tuned. More to come.